All right, let's talk about something we all do, but pretty much never discuss, going to the bathroom. Now, it might seem like a really simple automatic process, but it's actually a vital sign for your overall health. So in this explainer, we're going to demystify that entire journey from food to flush.
And look, I totally get it. It can be a little awkward, right? But think about it. Trying to go a whole day without this process crossing your mind, it's basically impossible because it is so central to how we feel and function. So let's get comfortable with the uncomfortable and learn something really important together.
So yeah, first up, let's just break the taboo. It's time to stop thinking of this as some weird off-limits topic and start seeing it for exactly what it is, a crucial indicator of your overall health.
Okay, so to really understand the final product, we've got to look at the assembly line, right? Your digestive system is kind of like this super efficient factory. It takes in raw materials, the food you eat, and just masterfully converts it all into energy and, well, waste.
Let's zoom in here, because this is where the final, most important stages happen. After your food leaves the stomach, it heads into the small intestine, and that's where most of the nutrient absorption happens. Then it's onto the colon, where water gets pulled out and the final waste product is formed and stored.
And all of that brings us to the final step, defecation. That's just the technical term for when your body finally expels that waste. And this isn't some random event. It's actually triggered by these powerful muscular waves called peristalsis. They push everything into the rectum and send a signal straight to your brain that says, hey, it's time to go. But what's really fascinating is that this whole system doesn't just operate on its own. It's directly influenced by so many things: what you eat and drink, how much you move your body, and even your emotional state. I mean, have you ever felt stressed or anxious? Well, your gut feels it too.
So if we just kind of reframe this a little bit, we can think of every single bowel movement as a daily report card from our gut. Seriously, it's direct feedback on your diet, your hydration, and your overall internal health. So let's learn how to actually read it.
This is the key question, isn't it? So one thing to know the process is happening, but it's a whole other thing to know what you should actually be looking for in the toilet bowl. What are the real signs of a healthy system?
This little chart gives us the basics. So normally, for an adult, things should be brown, soft but still formed, and kinda cylindrical. The abnormal column, though, shows us the warning signs. We're talking unusual colors like black, red, or even a clay-like color, or a really narrow pencil-like shape. Those could all indicate that something is a little bit off.
Now this is a surprisingly brilliant medical tool. It's called the Bristol Stool Chart, and it gives us a super simple visual guide for consistency. See, if you look at types 1 and 2, that's leaning towards constipation. Types 3 and 4 are pretty much the ideal, smooth and easy to pass. And then as you get down to types 5, 6, and 7, you're looking at different degrees of diarrhea.
But, of course, the system can have its glitches. Things can go wrong. And what's really important to remember is that these issues are incredibly common, so let's take a look at what can happen and what it all means.
Okay, so the two big ones you've probably heard of are constipation and diarrhea. Constipation is really defined by frequency, so fewer than 3 bowel movements a week, and also by that hard, dry consistency. Diarrhea is the total opposite. It's the frequent passage of liquid feces, and that's because things are just moving way too quickly through the intestine.
And beyond those two, other issues can pop up. Fecal impaction is the really severe form of constipation where waste basically gets stuck. Bowel incontinence is the loss of voluntary control. And it's also absolutely critical to watch for things like blood in your stool. That's always a sign that you should probably check in with a doctor.
All right, enough about the problems, let's talk solutions. Because here's the good news. You have a lot of power to keep your digestive assembly line running smoothly. And it really does start with simple, everyday habits. The basics are so key. More fiber from plants, plenty of water, and regular physical activity to get that peristalsis going. But also notice the other things on this list, like just allowing yourself enough private time. And even proper positioning on the toilet can make a huge difference. Now, for those times when the lifestyle tweaks just aren't quite enough to solve a problem, medical aids can help. Over-the-counter options like laxatives can help get things moving, and enemas work by introducing a solution into the rectum to stimulate emptying. Now, in some really severe cases, like with certain diseases or injuries, that digestive assembly line might be permanently broken. For these situations, surgery can offer a life-saving solution called a bowel diversion, or an ostomy.
This procedure basically creates a new path for waste to exit the body through an opening on the abdomen. It's a major, life-changing surgery for sure, but it's a critical option for many people.
So, what's the key takeaway here? It's that paying attention really matters. When you understand the process, you know what to look for, and you make those simple lifestyle adjustments, you are taking control of your digestive health. And that's a huge part of your overall well-being.
Ultimately, it all comes down to this. Every single day, your gut sends you a message, a little status report on your internal health. The only question is, are you listening?